Okay, so what have we got so far? We got team comps looking like okay, we got a Jax and a Malphite. Wow, there's about to be a kill happening actually. Malphite hiding in the brush. Oh, the Jax flashes in, picks up the kill. So, team composition, what we're looking at right now from the Yodel Extraction Squad is going to be a Jax in the top lane, Lee Sin in the jungle, Zed mid with a Jinx and Nami in the bot. We have a Malphite in the top for Cho'Gath in recovery. With the Ezreal jungle, of course, is very popular right now. You're going to see a Vel'Koz in the mid lane who's getting ganked right now by the Lee Sin. He's going to dive him, and they're going to probably trade 1-for-1. They are going to trade 1-for-1 there. There's going to be a nice trade over of kills. Ignite did go down. Flash and barrier used by the Vel'Koz. And we're going to have a Twitch and Sona in the bot lane. All right, so when we take a look at this composition, what are we seeing right now?
So what it looks like from the side of Yordle Extraction Squad is that they have a composition that's super ready for picks. It's ready for killing. It's ready for fighting. It's so damage oriented. It looks like this is like a very typical plat game for solo queue players. On the side of Cho'Gath in recovery, we do have that Malphite and that Vel'Koz and Sona that makes actually for really good CC in team fights. But we'll see how they land those skill shots against a very mobile, threat-oriented composition from Yordle Extraction Squad, right? You have Jax that can jump, you have Lee Sin that can dash and throw his Qs out and jump around. You have Zed that can shadow dash, and the Nami's got a pretty good kit of CC to help them out. Obviously, in terms of tankiness, you're not seeing a lot of HP on the side of Yordle Extraction Squad compared to Cho'Gath in recovery. So it's really going to depend on how these threats get to the back line and take out Ezreal, Twitch, and Vel'Koz. And they do have the team composition that does help in that regard. So I think a lot of laning, I think it's going to be really hard for Cho'Gath in recovery, and I think what we're going to see is a lot of kills and a lot of advantages going over to Yordle Extraction Squad. But we'll see how these mid-game and late-game skirmishes turn out. And I think that's what's really going to set the pace of this game and the winner of this game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I do see a lot of scaling on the side of Cho'Gath in recovery. And as you were saying, they're very much playing champions that can win lane on the side of Yordle Extraction Squad. And I think the one thing they have going for them is obviously the early game Ezreal jungle pressure that we've all been seeing. He's really good once he takes his first couple buffs. He gets ganks in, but as of right now, it doesn't look like he's doing too much. And I think the first jungler to make waves was at least in there, even though he did trade 1-for-1.
Which is really surprising. I mean, we did miss the first few minutes of this game. We're not going to be able to see what that Ezreal was doing in order to press his early game advantage. We do see Vel'Koz getting a kill there. That's super surprising.
Vel'Koz gets a little turnaround kill on the Zed. I don't know if he just wasn't ready for that. He did use Flash there.
Now, Zed had the all-in. I'm not really sure why he didn't go for the all-in when he did Shadow Dash forward, because once he does that, he gets rid of his gap closer against the Vel'Koz response. That ultimate's going to slow. That ultimate's going to do some true damage as it stacks that Vel'Koz passive. And so Zed found himself in an all-in situation but didn't pull the trigger. That's kind of a mechanical mistake, or maybe a disrespect of the Vel'Koz not understanding how that champion works.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting actually, because like you said, Deathmark was there. He had it available, and one of the best ways to avoid that big laser is just to ult.
Yeah. I mean, he shadow dashed forward. I guess he wanted to get the poke out, but the better response in that case is just, I mean, you're dead. There's a reason why I ban this guy every game. It's because his all-in potential when he has ult is amazing.
We got a gank coming into the bot lane here. Traps are going to go down. Going to try and dissuade that, but looks like Twitch is still trying to get a little bit of damage onto Nami. Rocket is going to go out. Rocket not going to pick up a kill there, but it's going to chunk the Ezreal down a little bit. Still got a... Wow, this is a very extended stretch. Rat-a-tat-tat's going to go out. Nami Bubble's going to miss. The Jinx is going to try and close this off. You do have Lee Sin coming in behind it. Exhaust gets thrown down. Jinx running Exhaust. I did not even look at that. You're running double Exhaust in bot lane? Wow.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
Zed coming around for a dive. TP coming in from the top. Malphite showing. And I think they're just going to back off this. I don't think you're going to dive this tower with Malphite. And Ezreal making his way down as well.
So two really interesting plays from the Nami here. She missed two bubbles, but I actually don't really blame her. She was super leading with those Qs. Trying to get, at the beginning of that fight, just around Jinx's E, her traps, Instead of stacking it on top of the traps, she was using that zoning space it was creating to try and get the catch. And then on the second Q afterwards, she tried to get the twitch and lead backwards. He thought,
oh man, the all-in potential coming. Yep, the ignite and the walk away.
The kind of play, yeah. I guess he sort of slapped his forehead on the first one and realized, hey, I'm Zed. I just need to go in on this guy. Even though the Vel'Koz popped his barrier, doesn't matter. If you're Zed, you get to kill whoever you want in your lane, especially against the Vel'Koz.
No flash, yeah, definitely. And he's not building any type of armor, and he's already picked up a Dirk. Bad times.
Right. And we have support items coming out from Vel'Koz as well. You have to get Zhonya's against that Zed.
See, let's see exactly what he's leveling here, because one of the things I like to do personally on Vel'Koz is, okay, he is putting points into his W. That's one of the things I like to do, especially in lane matchups where I don't even want to fight, is just level my W and just shove the wave the entire time.
Yeah, it helps you shove the wave, and not only that, it gets you pretty good damage on someone like an assassin that can, you know, gap close or dodge your Qs in general, right? Like if you're gonna just miss your Qs in general, you're doing 0 damage. It's only going to hit at most 3 minions, and to have that maxed out W, you're absolutely right. You get to control the pushing power of the lane, and maybe you can get the Zed from keep the Zed from killing you.
That's it. Don't want none of that business.
Exactly.
All right. Ezreal's looking around here. I think he's just picking up a Scuttle Crab, checking in that ward brush. Fight's going to break out in top lane, though. Jack's going in with Counter-Strike. Little Leap Strike damage, but Malphite looking like he's trading it back. He was
Looks
just...
like have a 2v2 coming on.
That flash out. The jump in. Leap Strike. Malphite going to turn it around. Unstoppable Force. Lee Sin going to kick Ezreal back under his own tower. Not pick it up, but Malphite's going to pick that up on the backside of that one. There was a red buff burning. Ezreal coming across. True Shot Barrage going to miss. Mega Death Rocket going to miss as well. Wow.
That's a really good turnout for Cho'Gath and recovery.
All right, Crescendo's going to go down. There's a second exhaust going down. Bubble going to miss again. And Rattata attack gets popped. They're going to be able to get that. No, the flash is going to come out from the Jinx, and there's not going to be anything left for that.
Yeah, still really good turnout for Cho'Gath and recovery here, especially on the top lane. They wanted to get that kill because it's really hard for Malphite to kill the Jax in the first place. So him getting that kill is going to help him get a bit tankier. Coming back to lane, I don't think he's going to have the power, especially at this point in the game, to stop the Jax's damage because of the fact that Jax has mixed damage for both AD and AP scaling. There's not much Cho'Gath can do except building HP in order to really stop that.
Vel'Koz going to get all in again, out of position in the mid lane, burns his flash after Deathmark has put that mark on him. And we're going to see a disconnect.
Flash, yep.
There's going to be a disconnect in the top lane. I hope he recovers and comes back here so we continue having ourselves a game. There it is. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
He's back. Yeah, so like we were saying, why even bother wasting your flash after you know?
I mean, the Vel'Koz actually was doing okay. He was 2-2-0 in lane. His CS is a bit behind, but that's kind of expected for the Vel'Koz Zed matchup. All Vel'Koz wants to do this game is farm, get ready for those mid-game skirmishes, and he just needs to not die. Just don't die to this head. Don't get him fed so that those mid-game skirmishes can be a bit easier for Cho'Gath and recovery here.
You just press laser and that's that.
Yeah. I mean, just push the waves, go back in base. I mean, just accept the fact that you're going to lose farm, and that's, you know, perfectly fine for a Vel'Koz. And the last thing you want to do is, feed and shovel kills over to the Zed like that, who's now 3-1-0.
Yep, and Ezra speaking, Rift Herald gets picked up. So we're going to see what they're going to do with that one. Goes on to the Lee Sin. I think he's taking it top lane. They're going to try and shove out this tower. And, oh, maybe not. He was showing top, but Jack's going to try and do some damage. So anybody who's unaware, that new Malphite W passive is pretty busted. He gets increased armor based on having his 10% health shield. So as long as it's up on him, he gets increased armor, and it actually maxes out to about 100%. And as we're saying that, the dragon is picked up. So
really nice cross map trade of objectives there. He saw that the Rift Herald was going down, and so he said, okay, so the other jungler is topside. I'm going to go grab this dragon. Pretty indicative of a nice, decent elo game here where you want to trade objectives across the map. You see that more in professional play.
All in coming again. Vel'Koz not going to go down this time. Is going to burn barrier. Crucial Barrage is going to get him low. Wow, lots of damage. And the Mega Death Rocket going to come from base to finish off 2. Wow.
I don't know if that was luck or skill. That Jinx ult definitely saved the day. What was going to happen there was that laser was going to go through and probably kill one, maybe both of them in the mid lane. So that was a really lucky or a really high-low place rocket that saved the day. That
was very, very interesting. As I was saying, I was like, yeah, cool, laser, and it, bam! Malphite just gonna, Unstoppable Force! Might be, the flash and the shard! Seismic Shard gonna pick him up. Wow. And gonna pick up that turret on the response on the backside. So, at least the Malphite, you know what, he picked up a kill, trading for his own turret there.
Yep. So Jinx picks up two kills there. I'm looking at her gold right now. She's sitting at about 1,500. What that means is she's already got that BF sword. She's going to go back and pick up the pickaxe. After a bit of... Okay, so she's...
Oh my goodness. Right, zero respect by the Vel'Koz. He walked directly up to him. Zed, at this point, and his flash coming out. Zed, at this point, does not even need to ult to kill him. The Thunderlord's proc and, and Duskblade is more than enough.
Vel'Koz forgot his place. The only reason he survived last time is because Ezreal showed up and stopped the onslaught of the Zed. The only reason that's the only reason he lived. He did absolutely nothing in terms of saving in his own Heine there. And so he steps forward and thinks, oh, you know what, the Zed isn't so bad after all, and ends up getting killed even without the Zed ult.
And there you go. Jack's going to take down that turret for his team, doing Jack's things. Going to continue to hit the Malphite. Malphite showing about 100 mana, not much to fight with. The wave is going to come out. Tidal Wave going to miss there. Sona is sitting on the side. It has Crescendo. Ezreal going to come in. They're going to exhaust onto the Twitch. But it looks like Nami may get traded back. True Shot Barrage is going to come down. Rat-a-tat-tat firing off. The kick's going to go through. Knock him back. Finish off the Ezreal. And Jack shows up to help out with Jinx to finish that off. And Zed over the wall pops the target really, really quick. Sona finally going to fall on the backside of that fight. Woo!
These skirmishes are way too messy for Cho'Gath and Recovery. What's happening here is that the CCs aren't really going to help in these situations where they're split up like that. And so what Yordle Extraction does pretty effectively is splitting up the team fights, splitting up the ability for Cho'Gath and Recovery to deal with those multiple threats that they have. You had Zed coming in from the back, finishing up. You had Lee Sin kicking, and I mean, there are so many threats on the side of Yordle Extraction Squad that at this point, the only way that Cho'Gath and Recovery win this game is by getting a good team fight in the middle of a lane or in the middle of the jungle where they're nice and grouped up. Because I mean, really, the Nami bubbles and the tsunamis are going to be helpful, but outside of that, they don't really have a lot of CC. I mean, they have the Lee Sin kick, they have the Jax counter strike, but not enough to really keep them down.
Not going to be an escape for the Lee Sin there. As I say, he's going to get collapsed on really, really easily, and it looks like Malphite is doing a good amount of damage here. Wow! And on the backside of that one, Twitch is going to get dropped down underneath his own turret, but Jax is going to drop as well in the top lane, and it looks like Cho'Gath and Recovery are making a nice recovery.
Pretty nice map movements here, actually, from Cho'Gath and Recovery as well, seeing that the Jax fight Jax was top, getting those kills where they can. Even though it's a 14-7 kill deficit on the side of Cho'Gath and Recovery, they're not too far behind in terms of gold. They still have 3 outer turrets on the table, and if they take all of those, I think they still have a chance to gain the lead here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Like you were saying, it's only about a 5k gold lead or just under that. That's not too bad. Yeah. Especially for solo queue means.
Malphite is also going to be really hard to kill here. Looks like Twitch is going to die.
Oh, boy! Big damage coming out of that Zed. Everybody, this is why you don't feed the Zed. Especially now when he has Duskblade. He literally just pressed Q-E-W.
He pressed his buttons, no skill required. I mean, he could have done that blindfolded. He's sticking around. Oh, he
another one. Another one. Wow! Gonna get all 3 here? Is he going to get all 3? He's going to get all 3. The Zed is doing huge amounts of work here. Literally just resetting his Duskblade to pick up those.
This is another reason why I just absolutely do not like seeing Zed in both my ranked and my normal games. This guy can run away with the game, get kills across the map. Now let's see what kind of objectives Yordle Extraction Squad gets here. He got 3 kills on bot side, but because they have so many turrets already taken, there's not much more else to get on the map. So yeah, the 3 kills are nice, but in terms of objectives, they weren't really pushed up to get anything else.
Oh, Rocket! Almost gonna finish him off. Oh, cancels the auto. Crescendo's gonna actually hit. Trap's gonna go out, and Jack's gonna dive the turret, get exhausted. Lee Sin Q gonna miss. Velkai's trying to pump out damage. Jack's just gonna leap strike over the wall to safety. That ward just
This is where Yordle Extraction might get a little bit greedy. Malphite's moving down. He's got the ultimate. He's got, they have a lot of CC ready for this fight. It's possible for them to win here.
Zed sneaking around on the backside here. The wave's gonna come out. Jack's gonna leap strike away. Zed sitting right by that. Oh, they see him. They see him right by that wolf count. I would not even be that close if I was Ezreal. And Ezreal's gonna go down here. Just get a death mark onto him. Walk out. Rat-a-tat-tat. Not gonna do enough damage. And Zed, cool guy, not looking at explosion. Exhaust coming out from the Jinx. Unstoppable Force gonna finish her off under the turret. And casually, just, oh my goodness. He is not giving this up. Lee Sin picking up the dragon while we're watching all these fights happen right now. It is getting crazy out here.
It is. There's a lot of skirmishes going on, and this is the part of the game where the winners are going to be decided. These team fights are still in the favor of Yordle Extraction Squad because that Zed is able to get into the back line, and these guys have so many gap closers. Lee Sin styling on that beat, Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz on the wrong side of the map gets kicked under a turret. Lee Sin with the cheeky little recall before the kick.
Island. Knew that he had the kill there. Knew that Vel'Koz didn't really have a way out. I mean, the team comp of Yordle Extraction Squad. This is actually super typical of a high elo team, where they just want multiple threats on the map, champions that they're really mechanically strong at, champions that could really pick off the carries like this and run away with kills in terms of the game. Again, it's still possible for Cho'Gath in recovery if they stop tilting, if they stop worrying about this kill deficit, and had the information that we did. If they were able to estimate, you know what? It's a 19-8 kill deficit. Yeah, that Zed's doing Zed.
I'm just gonna make sounds every time Zed kills someone now.
We don't need to even explain that. There's no analysis for it. He's fed. He's gonna kill people. That's part of the nature of this game now. And so what Cho'Gath and Recovery need to do is think, okay, what do we need to do in order to stop this Zed from doing Zed things? Well, how about grouping? How about doing something where we're, as a team, able to take him out with CC and the damage that we do have? They're only maybe about 6k behind. And so because they're looking at that 20-8 scoreboard, they're entirely discouraged from doing anything else.
Man, there is just... There's gonna be more bodies because that Zed is sitting in that brush again.
Right.
And
right.
He could just be taking that turret, but he's not. He's just gonna hang out, wait around, see who walks up to it.
Yeah, that turret even standing has claimed maybe like 4 lives already, because people feel safe walking up to that turret.
Yeah, I don't know why you would at this point.
So now this is the part where it looks like we're gonna have a good skirmish here. We'll see what that Malphite can do with the Vel'Koz stepping up like that, but Vel'Koz totally gives away the play. Malphite walks through a ward, and so Yordle Extraction Squad is going to be pretty safe in terms of finding these picks. Now what they want to do, Yordle Extraction Squad, in order to win the game here, is find another pick and take some sort of larger objective like Inhibitor.
There we go. Get the cats out. All right. Yeah. Okay, so I was looking the whole time, and I was like, "Hey, there's gonna be a big fight. There's gonna be a big fight."
Yeah, he walks through Malphite walks through a ward.
Oh, Lee Sin gonna go and gonna chunk down the Ezreal really quick. Tidal Wave gonna hit everybody on the team. Rat-a-tat-tat gonna come on the backside of that one. Exhaust going down. Lee Sin gonna try and finish off the Twitch. Heal is gonna come out. Zed jumping into that fight there. Gonna chunk out the Ezreal the rest of the way. Unstoppable Force used on one target though. Why would you hold it so long? Zed gonna dive the turret, get back to his shadow, and they're gonna trade 0 for 3 there. Gonna take this turret down and get first inhib of the game.
Yordle Extraction Squad played that really well, and what they did in order to make sure that Malphite only got 1 target was that they split up. They used the mobility that they had and attacked multiple fronts. They were in the back line, they were in the front line, they were in the middle line, they were all over the place, and Malphite didn't really have a good placement for his ult, and that shows the strength of this mechanically advantageous team here, where they have those gap closers, where they can get to the back, they can get to the front, and actually do damage because of the fact that their laning phase was so much in their favor.
Man, don't you be flashing mastery atop Lee Sin. Don't you do that. Just take the turret. Stop being a douche.
He did have a pretty good ultimate there that did provide them CC that they were seriously lacking as a composition. So Lee Sin, I think, did a really great job. He's about 50% of the reason that they won that fight. I believe his kick knocked up 2 or 3 people there and gave them enough time, especially the Jinx, to deal with that front line on the side of Malphite and the other, carries that they have there. So that was a really strong CC.
Oh, Ezreal gonna get caught out again. Dragon Rage gonna send him back. Face checking.
Face checking. Yep.
Face
there was no reason for him to be up there. I mean, his red buff isn't up there. There's Baron coming up, but they could have checked it in some other way. He didn't have to, go there in the first
Twitch
place.
with no flash, but it doesn't even matter. Twitch gonna get dropped in the mid there. And boys and girls, if you're ever gonna play Ezreal jungle, don't go 1-7 because you don't do anything at that point.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that early pressure from Ezreal. I mean, he did pick it up, but as a jungler, he's not really providing a lot of kills for his team. That early game advantage was what they needed in order to avoid this late game situation where the threats can kill multiple carries without even using their ultimates. I also think, yeah. I also think that Twitch has a chance to be the hero of this game, but he's so far behind. 0-6-1, doesn't really have a lot of gold, has only finished one item.
Hurricane.
So he's not really going to do a lot of damage to deal with these carries.
Oh, rocket and kick. Gonna take that resonating strike. Gonna finish him off. And the dive is gonna happen probably, but it's very, very tanky.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Zed and Jax taking bot inhibitor. This one looking like it's just about all said and done.
Yep.
Just gonna wait and clear
like
this out.
Yeah, they're just gonna clear it out. They're gonna take the turrets. They're just gonna try to end the game here.
Right, it's that in the hurricane.
Damage.
Look at that damage that he does, even without having any damage items. Gonna die. Oh man. Vel'Koz's laser not gonna do just about anything. Unstoppable Force gonna land onto the Jinx there, knock her up. Just gonna try and dissuade them from taking this, but I think, you know what, they really want that 50 gold from the Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, Vel'Koz also went support items. He, has the Spooky Ghost, but he also has a Banshee's Veil. He doesn't have any AP items at all because he wants to live. But even though he wants to live, he didn't build any armor items to deal with the Zed. No Zonias, no armor, not a spec. I mean, I don't understand this Vel'Koz decision making on his items here. I think that really cost him his lane. It really might have cost the game as well.
When you double kill both carries without even, and you get a triple kill while you're exhausted, I think that should tell you the tale of the game right there. Like we said, just ban the Zed.
And this answers a lot of those questions. Well, what champion should I pick in order to round out my composition? Even at a mid-platinum level, you really don't need a team composition. All you need to do is win your lane, kill lots of people, and then win the game. And if you're really good at that, and you're really good at your champion like this Zed is, like this, even the Jax and Lee Sin is, you're going to eventually find yourself winning a lot more games, especially ranked, and carrying yourself and the team to victory. In situations where your team comm looks like in skirmishes would lose. In any other situation, if we saw Malphite, Vel'Koz, Sona, and then the Twitch in the back doing damage, as a composition that's pretty decent. But if you're so far ahead because you've just dominated the other team in laning phase, it doesn't matter what your composition is. And so a lot of non-professional League of Legends is about champion proficiency. Learn a champion that you can carry the game with, and I think that's what this team of Yordle Extraction Squad is doing. The Jax says, you know what, I'm pretty good at Jax. I don't really care if it's a Malphite. I don't care who's on their team. I don't care if it's double AD carries, triple AD carries. It's not about advantages or disadvantages. I'm just gonna play it and be good at it and do damage and kill people.
Yep, and you know what? It's great to say that because even no matter how proficient you are at, let's say Vel'Koz or whatever other mid laner, if you knew you were picking Vel'Koz, your priority should have been to get rid of an assassin that could kill you on point and click.
Exactly. Zed should have been a priority ban. I don't know if they banned Yasuo or other assassins like that can deal with him. LeBlanc is also really good against Vel'Koz.
I'm going to pull it up while they're taking Baron. I don't think we don't even have to say that that's not going to be contested because it's not going to be contested.
Oh, Ezreal popping like a pimple there. I mean, he's not really doing anything this fight. He's also sort of mechanically slower than the rest of the members of this game. You can see that he gets hit by a lot of these skill shots that he shouldn't. With his arcane shift, he should be able to dodge a lot of those lethal kills, lethal skill shots that can kill him.
Yep. I am going to see. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Big laser going to go across. Going to push them off of there, but is the poison going to drop him down? No, it's not. Nami's little heal going to save him. Twitch still trying to get this. But, oh, and he's going to appear right in front of Lee Sin. And Lee Sin just going to get a nice little sonic wave there. Not going to take that one. He resisted the syndrome.
Okay, so this is another problem with Platinum players. They don't know how to end the game. Their ego is too big. All they had to do was, go in, kill the Nexus, and save everybody a bit of time here. But, Zed decides to jump into the fountain. Everybody else wanted to jump off that bridge as well because their friends were doing it. They just need to end the game here. Just tap it in. Just end the game. I don't think there's a situation in which Cho'Gath and Recovery do come back from this. They have 3 inhibs down. All Yordle Extraction Squad has to do is walk up and take the Nexus this time. They need to do that maybe 3 times in order for this to really be a comeback for Cho'Gath here. The Twitch is too far behind. He did finish his Static Shiv, but it doesn't really matter when the assassins take him down in half a second. He's only going to be able to get maybe 1 or 2 auto attacks before they use their gap closers. So let's see if they can end here. There's only 2 of them in front. Zed and Jinx are all the way in the back. It's still possible for them to, for Cho'Gath and Recovery to win here. Very unlikely though.
Crescendo going to hit the Jax just by himself. Counter Strike going to keep any damage from going out there. Lee Sin, now they're looking serious. They're trying to focus it, and the Super Mega Death Rocket going to come in and kill the Ezreal. Exhaust going to pop out on the Zed there. Zed's still going to pick up the Vel'Koz, and that will be the end of the game. Yordle's in recovery. Yordle's in recovery. Yordle Extraction Squad going to take that victory over Cho'Gath in recovery with a 12k gold lead and 34-11.
All right, let's take a look at these damage charts here. Zed obviously doing massive amounts of damage, but surprisingly, Jinx did a lot as well. She did go 6-1 before the skirmishes began. She had a lot of money in her pocket. That double kill coming in from that long-range rocket from base ended up netting her a bunch of items that she needed in order to do a lot of damage. Malphite, not surprisingly, did a lot. He actually picked up the Sunfire Cape against the Jax, which I thought was really smart, and I think ended up doing the majority of the damage there. Because of the Jax's counter-strike, you can't do damage to him with auto attacks while he's doing that, and so the Sunfire Cape actually kind of helps in terms of putting that DPS down against him. It's a real shame when you see that kind of damage, though. He does double the amount of damage to champions than Ezreal did, and I think Ezreal is going to be maybe 75% of the reason that Cho'Gath and Recovery lost here. He needed to control the beginning of the game. He needed to control laning phase, not by getting kills, not by getting assists and flashes, but simply by having pressure on the map. And that can be in the form of kills. That's a great way to add pressure on the map. But he needed to be more present, needed to be more relevant, needed to be a bit more annoying as a champion in making sure that Cho'Gath and Recovery have some time to build up in order to get those advantageous team fights. But he didn't. His damage shows that he wasn't really able to go in and be annoying, and instead was killed multiple times. The rest of the reason why I think they lost here was Vel'Koz's itemization and decision making in dealing with a Zed. Clearly, the Vel'Koz doesn't know how to deal with that situation. Zed does more than double his damage, and so with those two combined, I think it's going to be really hard for Twitch, who actually did a sizable amount of damage, and Malphite to help carry those two individuals out of this game. After that, I mean, there's nothing really more to say on the side of Yordle Extraction Squad, doing a great job in playing their champions well, executing people when they can, and simply using those kills to gain a huge item lead in order to end the game.
Yeah, as you were saying, I think it's very much, Ezreal's 1-11. You kind of expect him not to do too much damage, but having damage relative to what your support has as this, jungler who is already, seen to be very strong in the early game, has decent clear speed because of his Q. Had good ganks early in the game, and like you said, we did get in a couple minutes late, but it wasn't late enough for us to say, okay, well, Ezreal is not relevant anymore. It was only like 5 minutes. So I don't see why he wasn't able to do something in the early game there, at least, show some kind of presence. But, that didn't happen. So, as you say, he did 6K damage. 6K damage is horrendously bad.
In a 30-minute game, yeah.
In a 30-minute game. That means you were on a champion who has the ability to poke from afar, and you did 6,000 damage. Usually what you end up seeing is from Ezreal's, especially if they're going like Gauntlet and stuff like that, is they're going to do a bunch of damage, and we could lose a game, and Ezreal will do the highest damage in the game just because of the amount of poke he can land. But when you have an Ezreal who finishes just his jungle item and, nothing else until almost 30 minutes, as you said, into the game, that's not really helpful at all. And when your Malphite is doubling his damage, building full tank, no even any type of damage item, and the only thing he has that can actually do damage outside of his Thornmail is Sunfire Kate, which is designed for a small little trade and some pushing. I don't understand if you're going to play that and not do something. You might as well have just played another jungler, just something, a tank. I guess.
Tank even, yeah. Yeah, especially in a game where it's about threats, it's about laning phase that's going to set the pace for those mid-game skirmishes. Ezreal needed to be a threat himself in order to really mitigate Yordle Extraction Squad from running away with the game after laning phase. That didn't happen, and so that makes this damage chart way more relevant in terms of how this game ended up this way.
Yeah, and we mentioned it all through the game about the Vel'Koz and his decision to not build the Zhonya's when you've got 1, 2, 3, and technically with Jax 4 AD threats on that team, and you didn't build a drop of armor, but you decided that you need to build Banshee's Veil for some reason. I don't know why. I guess he thought, hey, it's a Zed, I need to build Banshee's Veil so he has an applied death mark on me when he's just going to kill me without it anyway. I don't really get that understanding there. And I did take I have a chance to look at their bans, and the bans coming out from Shoutcast and Recovery was Rammus, Sejuani, Warwick, Xayah, and Fizz. So, and I don't believe that the person who banned Fizz was the Vel'Koz. So,
yeah,
that's very interesting to me that you played a champion who has the lowest mobility in the game, and there are champions relative to that, but the lowest mobility in the game, and the only peel that you have for yourself is 2 skill shots, one of which is a slow, one of which is technically an airborne, and you have to land them both in order for this guy not to kill you, which he has 2 forms of dashing to dodge them. And you said, I'm fine playing into this. And then not building armor when you go, all right, he got one. And just being that guy who says, he got lucky, he's not good. He's lucky, he got lucky. And then continues to kill you, as well as your Ezreal, as well as your Twitch, and your Sona, all in the same breath.
I actually even wonder, maybe that's the reason why he got support. He wasn't really confident in his ability to deal with that Zed. Maybe he knows he's going to get completely demolished in that matchup, and he gets that support item. But I think that's a decent mentality to hedge and say, okay, you know what? There's a really high chance that I'm going to lose this lane. I'm going to build items that make sure I mitigate the amount of demolishing that happens to me. But I don't think Frost Queen's claim is going to be the right item there in order to deal with that, and a Banshee's afterwards. So I think he was on the right track in terms of, okay, I'm going to hedge. My Vel'Koz isn't good enough to deal with this Zed. But the items that he chose to hedge in terms of mitigating that Zed from running away with the game were just completely bonkers. This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why a plat level player would decide to get those items in the situation that they found themselves in. Banshee's Veil is a terrible item to deal with that enemy composition because, I mean, so many of them are going to get rid of that Banshees in the first place. And so, I think 25% of the reason why Shoutcast and Recovery lost here, Ezreal being the other 75, not being relevant. In a game where threats and relevance in damage is going to dictate the winners of this game.
Yeah, they had a really sick poke comp if they could have done something, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. Did you want to step away and get your food at this moment?
Yeah, give me. I actually have my plate ready to go. I just need like.
Good, do your thing. Do your thing. Okay, so yeah, as you said in stream chat, the game was very one-sided now, and we were saying the same thing as far as why would you delay the game, because you never know what could happen in solo queue, right? So one of the biggest things they were looking at is, you have I mentioned we have a poke comp, and they might not look at it as a poke comp, but it could be a poke comp. Yes, you can have team fights because you have the Malphite. Malphite's really great at peeling. Malphite's really great at engage, because he just has ultimate that can do that. So if you have this kind of composition, you know that taking straight up fights is not going to be you. Skirmish is not your strong point. So you shouldn't be trying to just straight up fight people. And basically they were doing the entire game. Like if you look, there's on the Zed side, okay, there is 23 kills just on the Zed, him being a part of 23 kills. The Jax was a part of 6. Lee Sin was a part of 14. That should tell you that who your damage threat or your biggest threat in that game was. You just itemize against him. Building a Banshee's Veil, you are trading away 60 magic resist. So you invested gold. It's a 3,000 gold item. You invested gold into a 3,000 gold item, okay? Now I'm going to go and look at this and see how much gold that is for the equivalent. Because I believe it was like 720 for a Negatron cloak, if I'm not incorrect. Let's see. So we're going to go and click magic resist here. 720 for 40 magic resist. Then another 25. So almost about that, okay? Let's shave off 50 because it's like 5, maybe 100 gold. So let's say 350 on top of this. So you're looking at 1,070 gold, or yeah, 1,070 gold for basically a stat that is nothing to you. A stat that is nothing. So he spent 1,900 gold for the active stats that he could actually use in that game. Besides, don't even talk about the passive. As Gunn was saying, you can pop that. So many people can pop that, it doesn't even matter. So for a passive that you can't even use, when you could have just spent that amount of gold on an item that literally makes you invulnerable and costs less and provides the same stats, 70 AP, 10% cooldown, 45 armor, which is huge against people building lethality. That's huge because Tabby's is enough. And you decided to build a magic resist item instead of building an armor item, which literally negates the engage of any champion that decides to get onto you. Not just the first hit. The entire engage is negated. You can press all your spells except for your ult, knock them up, whatever you're going to do, press your Zonias, you're invulnerable for 2.5 seconds. Your team engages, you laser. Why would you build Banshee's Veil? Why? And as we said, this game is not like, oh, this is super low elo. People don't know. By this time, people should know. Okay, the elo in this game, Plat 1, Plat 2. There is absolutely no excuse for you to build a Banshee's Veil unless you are trolling. 100% trolling. That is one of the worst items you could build into a full AD composition. The only argument you could make on that is that, oh, well, Jax does AP damage. Okay, but Jax ain't doing that kind of AP damage for you to be building, 70, what was it? How much magic resist? 70 magic resist? Or 60 magic resist? Get out of here, man. Like, no way. No way. That tells you the mentality of some people who, as we discussed in the last stream, you can get to, Plat 1, Diamond, 5, whatever it is, and still not understand the game in its entirety. And no one's going to understand the game in its entirety. But that's a basic thing. You're talking about items, building for your lane, building for threats on the other team, and you ignore it while losing lane. And that player is a Plat 2 player. Plat 2 player. And you literally ignored it and said, I'm fine. I don't need that. Are you kidding me?
Alrighty, I'm back.
Like, are you kidding me? And you take a look at some people and you go, okay, well, maybe this happened, or this happened, or this happened. This is what you get when people can grind their way. And Gun touched on it last stream, like I said, when people can grind their way up to higher rank. Because you had a player who was Plat 5, all the last 2 seasons, and then in season 6, he was Gold 1. He has now played about 400 games or so, which is not that much. But for him to be Plat 2 and to not understand the fact that I've been killed by an AD assassin, I need to build armor, that tells you that anybody can achieve this feat. You just play games. You don't have to understand the game, apparently, to make it that deep. And, you know, in what you want to call high elo for the normal person. So that itemization is ridiculous to me. And to think, like, you are a person who is on the cusp of being a diamond player. And you ignore that and throw. I did an analysis while you're gone of how much gold was thrown away. And it's literally amounts to about 1,100 gold that he threw away from the magic resist that never gets used.
I'm guessing the difference between the Zonias and the Banshees, right?
Yep. Because Zonias is cheaper by 100 gold, and then the magic resist you get equals about 1,100. So it's really bad. And you're talking about a passive that's not there to a passive that completely negates everything everybody on the other side of the map does.
Yeah, and don't get me started on the Frost Queen's claim. That's a complete waste of gold. 100%. Like, I don't understand why someone would get that item on Vel'Koz mid. It hurts my soul. It makes me feel sad.
Does it hurt your soul?
I actually enjoy playing Vel'Koz, and it just really hurts to see someone get decimated by a Zed that badly because they had, their core items throughout the entire game, Frost Queens and Banshees. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.